Hey guys, and welcome back to Cutting Through the Red Tape with your girl LaShonta. I am so excited to have a special guest, another special guest with me on today. As you guys can see, it is Mike Faison. Oh my gosh. Like, listen, y'all. I am so glad that Mike said yes. He is finally here with me today on Cutting Through the Red Tape, and it's going to be another great show. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are back and ready to rock and roll. Listen, y'all know how I do it. I always get right to it. So we're going to go ahead and cut through the red tape today. Welcome, Mike. How are you doing today?
What's up? Good. Glad to be here.
Yes, glad to be here. So very excited that you are here with us today on Cutting Through the Red Tape. You feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Feeling good.
On this lovely Sunday.
Yeah, on this lovely Sunday. It's another beautiful Sunday. We had an amazing time at church today. And so, yeah, we have Mike here today, and we're just gonna, how the young folks say, chop it up.
Chop it up. That's right.
We're gonna chop it up on today. Y'all, listen, Mike and I have grown up together. He's a little older than me, but we go all the way back to the Winterwood days.
Winterwood, baby.
Listen, y'all know it as Springwood, but to us, it was Winterwood.
Right.
Winterwood Apartments.
Yep.
And listen, let me tell you, back in the day, we had the best fun. I mean, like, boombox on the front porch. Like, we was chilling out, cooling. We ain't have a care in the world. Listen, we was walking back and forth to Cliff's, to the beauty supply store, to the doghouse. Listen, them hot dogs was good. Listen, how much was them hot dogs back in the day?
It was like $2 for $1.
$2 for $1? Yep. Man, you can't even get a single slice of bread for $1.
I used to go get me $2 for $1 hot dog. Some Dipsy Doodle chips and what's the drinks that we used to drink? Jungle juice. Hey, I had me a whole combo right there.
What? A whole combo less than $5.
That's right.
Less than $5. Oh my gosh. So so that's where we come from. That's where we know, how we got kind of got started.
Right.
Those were the good old days. We had a good old time, back in the day. So it's times have definitely changed. Would you say?
I would say so. It has changed a lot.
Yeah, times have definitely changed. But listen, we are evident that, greatness.
That's right.
Greatness can come from any side of the world. It doesn't matter where you are, where you grew up at. There's greatness inside of you, and we just ask that you push through it and walk into your greatness.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
just talked about that, walking into your greatness, right?
That's right. Walking in your greatness. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you have to do what? You have to apply yourself. You have to inform yourself, and then you have to do what? Put in the work.
That's right. Put in the work.
Listen, I mean, everybody can talk to you all day long about being great and about doing what you're supposed to do. But if you don't take the first steps and apply yourself and put in that work, listen, it's just going to lie dormant on the inside of you.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah. So whatever it is that you are attempting to do, and however far you are attempting to go, it starts within you. It starts within your mind, and then you have to what's that song? Activate your mind, get yourself together. I think that was like a cheer or something. I don't know what I remember that from, but it's living rent free in my head. But today, Mike, we just want to say, just tell us a little bit about you, however you want to share, or whatever it is that you want to share. Yeah.
Okay. Well, as y'all know, I'm from the lovely town of Clinton, North Carolina.
Sit down.
Born and raised here. Graduated 98, class of 98. And went to Fayetteville State. Got my degree in Fayetteville State, worked in the mental health field for my time at school. Graduated, stayed in the mental health field, um, got married, 2 lovely kids, and currently residing in Hope Mills. So
That's
that's
what's
where we
up.
are right now.
That's what's up. Shout out. So, Mike, born and raised in Clinton, Dark
That's
Horse,
right.
of course, class of 98.
Woo, woo.
Yeah, so you graduated with Joni.
Yes,
You
yes,
graduated with
yeah,
my cousin Joni,
yeah,
okay? Yes, because we all kind of, I was the straggler. Like, I wanted to hang with the cool kids. Like, they got a chance to go to the turnaround
right,
and they got a chance to hang out and do all these cool things. So I was coming up, trying to hang with them, but, couldn't really hang with them.
hmm,
But yeah, I've learned so much from the class of 98 based on, my family. And then I think my cousin Anitra was 93.
yeah. I think now she somewhere. Well, she's about a 95. I ain't for sure. I
95,
ain't for
okay,
sure.
but
Yeah,
she
but yeah.
was, she was a little older than
Hmm.
them, and they were a little older than me, so yeah, that's
Right.
what's up. So doing big things in, you said, Hope Mills, North
Yeah,
Carolina.
yeah. I currently reside in Hope Mills. Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay. And yeah, so shout out to Mike and his wife and their children, doing big things in Hope Mills, North Carolina. So let's get down to it.
Let's get it.
So I currently follow Mike on social media, and I make sure that I look at his posts every single day on social media, because no matter what the post is, it always hit me. And sometimes I get a little upset because I'm like, listen here, bruh. You don't know my story, so
Hmm.
you can't, like, I'm going to act the way I want to act because I want to act the way I want to act.
Right.
Let's just be real. I'm not by myself. We
Right.
get good in understanding, we get good knowledge, we get good information, but we still don't follow, right? Am I
Right.
not true? Am
Right.
I not telling the truth? So I'm just only speaking for myself. But again, following Mike and following his posts, they're very uplifting. He always speaks knowledge. But one thing I do love about Mike is he always want to get someone else's perspective. And so he never judges on how you think. He only tells you, you know what I'm saying? He tries to give it to you from every angle.
Hmm.
And sometimes we just can't help the way we see things,
Right.
or the way that we process things. That's what I want to say.
Right.
Because sometimes the information is real good to us, but if we're not in that place
Right.
to receive it well, then it can come out as being an attack,
Hmm.
or it can offend.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, he always like the input of other people, and I think that's real good, especially for mental health.
Right.
Because you say you work in the mental health field,
Yeah.
because that kind of gives other people an idea of how other people think, right? Because
That's
we
right.
always want to know, why did you do that?
Yep.
You
Yep.
know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like, what possessed you to do what you did?
Right.
And most of the time it's because of the way people think.
Right. One of the things that I think about as you was talking about me and my post was I'm a perspective first person, meaning
Okay.
that I understand that my own perspective doesn't serve me well because it's my own perspective.
Right.
So with that being said, like let's say for an example, I'm looking at a box. If I'm just standing in front of the box, I can only see the front surface of it. But there's 3 other perspectives of that box.
That's right.
So to really understand anything that we're looking at, perspective is very important to see it from different perspectives. So a lot of times with my posts, it pretty much be, it may have, a lot of my posts don't have anything to do with me, to be honest. A lot of my posts either stem from something that someone has said to me, something that someone has asked me, or even inboxed me to even post on my page.
Okay, that's interesting. I
Right.
didn't know that. I didn't realize that people inbox you, and because
Right.
that's good too, because that person is trying to get a better understanding of the situation, and what's going on too. So that's real good.
And usually with a person that inbox me, I guess they can see that I don't have a problem with saying certain things on my page. And again, I'm more perspective driven from other people. So a lot of times they may ask me something that they wouldn't ask on their own page.
That's right.
And I don't really mind it because even with that being said, I kind of look at it as like, well, this person needs something that they're not able to get for themselves.
That's right.
So,
That's right. And you being kind of like the middle guy, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna post it and then you're gonna get the reactions, you're gonna get, the feedback, the comments, and some
right,
people are still not even brave enough to even comment their own opinion
right.
or their own perspective, because we live in a world where it says we listen but we don't judge.
Right.
But at the end of the day,
We be judging.
we be judging.
We be judging.
We be judging, and you getting judged. Like I said that on my last show, so I'm really trying to tell y'all, you know what I'm saying? You can say it, but you know what I'm saying? Saying it is good too, because one thing that I have learned from my own journey is to be free from people.
Right.
Like, you have to be free from people, because it doesn't matter what you say. It don't matter what you look like. It don't matter how you act. It doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying, what you put on, what car you drive, what house you stay in. Somebody is going to have a problem.
With what you saying that part, being free from people. I think a lot of times we say things, but people don't really know how to do those things. So if you think about you saying being free from people, obviously you understand the concept because you had experience. So, but you take a person that really not had that experience of being free from people, what does that mean? It makes me think about a time, like I would look at posts, like I would see a post that someone posted, and it was a good post, and you would think that nobody would have a problem with it, right? You go to the comments, then you see people having a problem with that good post. So with that being said, I don't think that there's going to be a post that you can find where there's going to be 100% people agreeing with it.
Correct.
So with that being said, we have to be okay with being okay with people not agreeing with how we think about things.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And we have to understand that everybody's mindset is not the same.
Right.
How I look at it is, we're all traveling on this road.
Right.
And we're on, all of us are on this road. You might have some people that's further along. You might have some people that's in the middle, and then you might have some people that's in the back. Now, it doesn't matter how we get there or how fast we get there.
Right.
We're all going the same.
That's right.
Trying to go the same way.
Right,
you know
right.
what I'm saying? So, you just can't judge a person's journey based on what you see, because you just never know what that person is going through on their journey.
That's right.
You know
That's
what I'm saying? So some people, even though we start out on a paved road, some people may end up on a dirt path.
Right.
Some people may end up on a rocky path, or you know what I'm saying? Something.
Right.
But how that person travel on their journey, we can't dictate that. We can only help them, we can only tell them, I wouldn't do this or
Right.
I wouldn't do that, but
Yeah.
we're all grown.
And that's a good point too. Even on that note, one of the things that I had to realize within myself was sometimes people can see what others can't see, right? And it's almost like seeing a person about to jump off a cliff and you're trying to stop them. But I had to realize that at the end of the day, no matter how serious something is, no matter the type of relationship you have with that person, it's up to them to take the advice or not. And we have to be okay with them taking the advice or not.
Exactly. We cannot force anybody to do something that they are not willing
That's
to
right.
do.
Or ready to do.
Or man, you said it. Or
Yeah.
ready to do.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And I often think back to the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't, if God wants to do something to or for that person, we cannot be in the way.
That's right.
Because most of the time we are shielding and protecting what God wants to do
That's
for
true.
that person. You know what I'm saying?
And we don't know God's purpose for someone else.
We don't know their purpose.
Yeah.
We do not know their purpose, and we just can't. And as hard as it seems, especially when it comes to those who are very close to us, when it comes to them and just watching them kind of like flap in the
Right.
water. That's difficult, but
Yep.
we had to do it.
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's why I
Mhm.
think that's what made me stronger.
Right.
I read a post on Facebook probably a while back, and it said, "I'm grateful for the help that I did not receive."
Mm.
Now
You gotta do it
that's tough.
yourself. You gotta do it yourself.
Now that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough
Mhm.
when you know you need help and you can't get it,
Right.
and you have to sit there, you have to figure out, you know what I'm saying, or strengthen your faith enough to know that God is going to do exactly what he said he was going to do in his word
That's
for
right.
you. Now,
That's
them
true.
some tough days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Them some tough days, but at the end of the day, it's like some type of power
Right.
that you receive from not having the help.
Right. And that's why I was saying, even with not having the help, you got to figure it out yourself. And in that time of figuring out yourself, there's nobody that's helping you.
Mhm.
So you're actually figuring it out and healing yourself during that time. You're trying to get what you're trying to receive.
That's
So
right.
that is tough. And if a person does that, that clearly says that they're in a place to move forward and be better.
That's right.
There is no in between in that area. of
No.
things.
And by that time they have really figured it out. And moving forward, guess what? They're equipped with not going back.
Right.
They equipped with not having to go through the same thing.
Mhm.
They equipped with even though if something comes along on my journey, now I have the strength, I have the patience, I have the capability, I have what I need to cross over that hurdle, because I learned from the
Right.
last hurdle that I tried to jump. And you ever seen them people that jump them hurdles and
Yeah.
stuff? This is why I don't go to track meets. A lot of that stuff is really dangerous.
Right.
Like, bruh, you running real fast, and then you gonna try to jump over
Look.
something that your foot can
Right.
easily
Catch
get.
that foot. It's over.
Boy, woo, Lord have mercy. You talk about hitting the ground, but we do that in life.
Right.
Like, life gives us hurdles, and we think we got it figured out. We think we have the know-how, and we think we can jump high enough. But boy, when that foot get caught
Right.
and we hit,
That's a different feeling right there, boy.
that's a different feeling.
That's a
Hey,
different feeling.
but I have seen some on that track field, and when they trip and fall, they bounce right back up,
Right.
and they keep running. And for the next hurdle, they know when to start jumping or how high to
Make
leap
that
and stuff.
adjustment. Make
Make
them
that
adjustments.
adjustment.
That's
And
right.
so that's how it is on our journey of life. You know what I'm saying? Like what Donnie said, we fall down, but we get up.
That's right.
Listen, that's real life stuff. But said something that I kind of want to talk about a little bit. Healing. Like, healing is so diverse. Like, it's not a certain way to heal.
Right.
It's not a certain position or place of healing. Like, we all heal different ways. Let's talk a little bit more about healing and going on that journey.
Right. As you asked the question about healing, it kind of made me think about a space. We all have internal spaces, and a lot of people don't really realize the power of our internal spaces. This is where we are held at. And so if our space is filled with negativity or trauma that we haven't dealt with, then that space is clogged up. So I think we have to first identify our inner space so we can start healing. I think healing is one of those things that people, it's kind of a cliche thing. You know, people say, oh, you know, I'm healing, I'm in my healing phase, or this is my chance, this 2025 will be my healing year. That's all cool. But where is the actual work done? Where's the space, where you working in this space at?
Woo!
So,
Yeah, because healing, I mean, and I'm not judging anybody's journey, but when you truly heal, you have to attack some things.
Right.
You have to lay some things down. Like, you have to, it's almost like a sacrifice.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you are in this position, you have to make sure that, okay, I say I'm on my healing journey, but yet I'm leaning towards something else that's blocking that journey.
Right.
So for me, it was, for my healing journey, for me, it was having a lot of people around me. Well, while I was in my healing time, it was almost like God has separated everybody from me. And I think I read something on Facebook where people say a lot of y'all don't want to be alone because you don't like who you are when you alone.
Right.
That's tough.
Right.
Like that's tough.
That's a good point too. That I don't think a lot of people really look at. And if you think about that, just being in a place where you don't know which way to go, or being on that journey, and if you're not in a place to really start with yourself and really someone I read a long time ago that all of our problems come from ourselves. Period. And that was a hard concept for me to really understand because I've dealt with things where I felt like it was somebody else's
fault, right?
But when I really started looking at the root of things, I started saying, well, if I would have done this differently, then maybe this would have happened. But I had to really step outside of myself to evaluate myself and say, everybody else ain't the problem every time. And really, once I started taking on that mentality, that's when kind of my life started changing.
Yeah, because even though certain things happen to us, it be our fault because you had no business being there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have happened if you hadn't have gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And not saying that everything that happened to us is our fault, but when you think about it, when you really sit down and think about it, certain situations wouldn't happen if we would just take the time to think that situation
That's
through.
That's
you
true.
know what I'm saying? You got backstabbed by so and so. Well, they had been telling you about so and so years ago, but you wanted to be you wanted to be the exception to the rule. Oh, she not gonna do me like that, or he not gonna do me like that because things have changed, time has changed. You know what I'm saying? Me and her, or me and him, we got a better understanding, or you know what I'm saying? We have spent a lot of time with each other, but people will spend time with you to learn you to take you down. As there's some people that's patient like that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going back to the Bible. Judas, he was the one.
Right.
God washed his feet, God fed him. Well, Jesus fed him, washed his feet. They supped together, they hung together. You know what I'm saying? So that he put in work.
That's right.
To build a relationship with Christ or Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And look what he did.
Right.
Over a few little coins.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So people really do have motives, and they really do have time to invest in you to do you wrong.
Right. That with that said, I look at it like you can't expect bad people to do good things. You can't do that. And a lot of times we even put that on people that's in our circle or people that we know. We kind of put that on them as well. But you can't expect bad people to do good things.
That's tough, Mike, because they ain't changed.
Well,
they ain't changed.
I feel like I can't put myself at risk for someone else's decisions. Meaning that just like if I pick up a rattlesnake, I can't expect that rattlesnake not to bite me because I don't want to be bit.
Right.
I have to look at that, understand that it is a rattlesnake, and I have to protect myself from being bit from the snake. But I think if we took that mentality in life, that kind of segues me to my daughter. And one of the things I teach her is that there's good men and bad men. That's it.
That's it.
And to learn how to discern men opposed to
don't be cussing on this show. You know nobody want to hear nothing about discernment. Don't do it.
Well, this is my thing. It is what it is when it comes to certain things. People don't like to touch on stuff like that, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But with going back to that point, is a lot of people feel like, well, that person did me wrong, or why would you do that to me? Like, why would you even ask that question? Why would a person do that? That's what those people do. So it's more or less a learning how to protect yourself from people.
That's right. And one thing I had to learn was everybody doesn't deserve to be in your space.
That's
Like
true.
everybody doesn't deserve to feed off your energy,
Mm-hmm.
feed off your vibe. Like everybody doesn't deserve a seat at your table.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it took me a long time to really understand that, because I kept thinking to myself, well, my God, why I'm not invited?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Why they don't choose me? Why they didn't pick me? But they just some people that I don't want to be in the room with.
That's right.
Like they just some cliques that I don't want to be involved with,
Right.
because we all see what the clique is about.
Right. We see what's going
and
on.
you see what's going on.
Yeah.
And so I had to think about that myself. Like, it's okay, LaShonta, you know what I'm saying? It's okay. You're different, you're set apart. You know what I'm saying? God has his own way of using you. He has his own way of you being in certain situations
Right.
and certain places. You know what I'm saying? And so I think a lot of people struggle with that too,
Mm-hmm.
with not being included.
Right.
Like when they feel like it's something important, or when they
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's somewhere, it's a certain place where they can flourish,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't.
Yeah, and that kind of made me think about some people in that situation. It could be that they are searching for something outside of themselves. And
To
it-
fill them up.
Right. And
Wow.
it kind of brings me back to that personal space we have in ourselves
Mm-hmm.
that can really only be filled up one way. And some people don't understand how to fill that void. And even with that being said, even being alone with ourselves, some people don't like to be alone with themselves because they've never been alone with themselves.
Never been alone. Never been alone. And I can attest to that. Like, during this isolation period, or this time that God had dedicated for me to be alone, I had to really sit with myself, and I had to really, it was almost like rebirth.
Right.
Really, because like, who is LaShonta?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? What does LaShonta like?
Right.
What don't LaShonta like? What did LaShonta do for a long time that I didn't like,
Right.
but that I had to do? You get what I'm saying?
That's
So it's all,
self-awareness. That's self-awareness right
that's
there.
self-awareness.
Right.
And let me tell you something, for anybody that's in that journey, that's on that journey in their life, where they are now sitting with themselves, listen, don't count it robbery. Like, don't be upset, don't be angry, don't be hurt. Use that time to learn who you are.
Right.
And it's going to be from ground zero. Like, it's gonna be from the beginning, because now you get a chance and an opportunity to really, get to know who you are.
Right.
And love yourself.
Right. Yep.
Because I learned that self-love is important.
Yep.
Because we can love and pour until we have nothing left.
Right. Right. And with that too, a lot of people, because they don't have that self-love, they tend to look for that outside in other people. And that's where the manipulation comes in.
Woo!
That's where the manipulation comes in, because you run across that right person who can really see and see, oh, this person is looking for love outside themselves. Then that's where the manipulation
They're
comes
going to run you in the ground.
right.
They're going to run you in the ground. They're going to get everything they can get out of you. They're going to, what's that other cuss word? They are narcissists. That's a big one right there.
Right.
They manipulate. They gaslight.
I was about to say gaslight.
That gaslighting, boy. They can sell you. They can sell you the rose petals off of a rose bush that they stole off somebody's grave. That's
Right.
how bad it is.
Yeah, yeah. I recently watched a documentary. This dude called Nature Boy. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No, I haven't, but
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, he was a cult leader. Like recently, and to see the people that was in the cult, and even when they got out, how they were still brainwashed, it's something to see, because we don't really see that on a regular basis. But I mean, I watch all kinds of stuff anyway, so. But that's a good documentary to watch to really see modern day brainwashing amongst
Wow.
people.
Amongst people, and it be the very people that are the closest to you.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if a person don't really know who they are, they gonna suck the life out of you, searching for that one thing that they're missing within themselves.
Yep.
And if you're not careful, it could, you know what I'm saying, it could sink you. It could
Right.
take you out.
That's true.
It could take you out. But I believe in willpower. I believe that the mind is the most important thing on the human within the human.
Right.
I know people say other things like the heart, the brain, and stuff like that, but I really think it's the mind, because if you can, if somebody can get into your mind, where people say, "Oh, the devil did this, the enemy did that, did that." The enemy has zero power.
Right.
What he does is he attacks your mind first,
That's
and
right.
then he once he attack your mind, the mind uses the body to destroy itself.
That's right. That's right.
And so I think that's very important for us as individuals to realize is it ain't the enemy, baby.
Right.
It's you.
Right. and one way I look at, as you were talking, thinking about ways to combat that, I often think about meditation. And even when it comes to the mind, there's a thing called heart-brain coherence. And what heart-brain coherence is when the mind and the heart is in sync together. And
That's Bible.
right.
You know that's Bible, right?
A lot of
If,
right.
y'all listen, y'all need to get in your word, because
But with that being said, once the mind and the heart is synced together, then the energy in our body flows more freely. And really, if you think about our thoughts, they're nothing but energy. Our thoughts are just energy anyway. So it's really learning how to control and manipulate energy within our bodies. When I meditate, I pray and meditate at the same time.
Okay.
That's my space for me with God. You know, and some people, they feel different about meditation and prayer. I don't really care what people feel. Again, that's my space with God. I use it for that. Meditation is good because it learns to give you that place of being still. A lot of people talk about being still, but what does that really mean? And a stillness is a stillness within your body, and it is really a stillness within your spirit. So yeah, a lot of people that got a lot of things going on, and minds constantly racing and stuff like that. It's a lot of energetic things that are going on, and God and spirit, all that is combined. So.
It is Father, the Son, and the Holy
That's
Spirit.
right.
It's really only one, and it's just how we use. No, I wouldn't say use, because we don't want to say we use Christ or the Holy Spirit or whatever, but allow it to work for you.
Right.
The Bible. The Bible is pretty much a blueprint. And like my pastor spoke today, he was like, we prophesy over ourselves whenever we repeat the Bible back to God.
Right.
Like, Lord, you said that you would do this for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not I'm asking you to do this for me because I just made it up. But in your word, you said that you would clothe me, like
Right.
you would feed me, like you would provide shelter, like you would cast down my enemies. Like you said all of those things. So now I'm repeating that back to you, and I'm trusting and having faith that you would do exactly what you say you would
Right.
do.
Right.
Okay, so when you say meditation, I don't really understand, because I haven't really looked up
into it.
meditation or
Right.
anything, but I did try yoga, and I heard that Christians are not supposed to do yoga, but I don't understand
Right. So
why we not.
let me say this, going back to the meditation part. Meditation is basically learning to be still. It's learning to observe your thoughts, using that time to connect with God, if that's what a person wants to do during that time. But it's really learning to be still, removing negative things from your energy field and stuff like that. A lot of people feel like you got to sit down, cross your legs, and all that stuff. No, a lot of times it's just learning to be still and just observe your thoughts. Let whatever comes up come up and observe it. Because we are not our thoughts. We are the observers of our thoughts. But a lot of people don't understand that concept. And well, kind of to explain that concept, it's like when we have when we upset about something, and you're like, man, I'm mad. opposed to us sitting back and saying, why do I feel like I'm upset? You're
Mm.
stepping outside of yourself and observing the feeling that you're having instead of letting that feeling take over you.
And you just acting on that's really
Right.
good. That's really good. Well, how I do that is I talk to myself.
Right.
Like often, like
I
a
do that
lot.
too. I do
I
that too.
mean, and I mean so bad to now where I don't think it's bad, but I guess I'm so comfortable with talking to myself. While I was at work the other day, I was walking down the hallway and I was having a great discussion because it was either jail or it was, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
be free. You know what I'm saying? So I really had to have that conversation with myself. And one of the people that work at the school, and she was like, are you talking to yourself? She was like, are you talking to anybody? I was like, no, I'm just talking to myself. And she was
Right.
like, are you okay? Oh, I'm
Right. I'm
perfectly
perfectly
fine.
fine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm doing wonderful
Right.
today. As a matter of fact, I've just made a great decision. I choose freedom today.
Right.
And she looked at me and she was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, have a good day.
Right.
And I often tell like my students, because I work with little ones, and I tell them, you have to talk it out. Whether anybody is listening or not, you have to get it out. We hold too much in.
Right.
And what people don't understand is when you hold in all of that negative energy and negative stuff, it weighs on you physically and it weighs on you mentally.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That's like where the weight gain come in. That's where not keeping your hair done or not dressing the part, or you know what I'm saying, you look like you're having some type of mental breakdown within yourself because you won't release that.
Right. I was just thinking about when you're talking about talking to yourself, because I do that all the time too. But one of the things, and it's funny that we mentioned that because one of my homeboys had posted something on Facebook, and he was talking about him talking to himself, and then somebody said, "I hope you don't answer back." And I responded, I talked to myself and answer back, right?
Listen,
But
because it's a solution need to be had.
Right. And on that note, it made me also think about, let's just say that we are talking to ourselves and we are getting some bad feedback. Then the first thing we'll say is the demons are talking to us, right? So why is it that when we're talking to ourselves, we're getting good feedback? It's we crazy.
Right.
Why it can't be God talking to us or
Correct.
the Holy Spirit talking to us?
That's right.
Because if we think about it, if we saying we're getting bad things and it's demonic, then what would the opposite be? It would have to be angels and God and the Holy Spirit, right? But we don't think about things like that.
We don't. I just think people just want to be in a rush to tell somebody that something is wrong with them.
Right.
Not all the time something is wrong when it's not normal
Right.
to somebody else, because what talking to ourselves may work for us, but for other people it may be something else.
Right.
But really, truly, honestly, I think we all just need to talk to ourselves.
Right. Right.
I mean, because who better to explain it, or you know what I'm saying? And I feel like when you say stuff out loud and you hear it,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, it kind of
It hit different.
it hit different. Like, did I just say that, or did you just say that? Because let's replay that back and see how it sound out loud.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I really feel like, now, and we're not saying, we are saying that mental illness is real.
Yes.
It's a thing now. We not downplaying mental illness. We are not saying that there are not some people that are truly, need help.
Right.
And we're telling you to get the help that you need. But for some of us that can really get through some things, having a conversation with yourself is really a good idea, because it could really save you.
That's right.
From a lot of, you know what I'm saying?
Drama and trouble.
Drama and trouble, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you know your homeboys is robbing and you hop in that car,
you going down too.
But you can make the decision like, yo, I want to ride with my homeboys, but then again, I don't. But if I ride with my homeboys and I see the ski mask, I see it physically.
Hey, you gotta do like Trey did on
Let me out here.
Let me out. Let me out.
He said, let me out.
Let me
He said,
out.
let me out. It was like, that was looking like, and look, not too much on my man Ice Cube.
Right.
Not too much on him. But what he do? He stopped the car because listen, man, that man sat back there and thought about some things, and he might not have said it out loud, but he really said some things to himself. Like, if I take this ride, I already know what they finna do.
Yeah.
And if I take this ride, either I gotta participate,
Right.
or I'm gonna be the one shot and killed.
Oh, he gonna have to participate because he in the car. So he ain't got no other choice at that point.
At that point.
Yeah, he in the car.
And so listen, good decision. Let me out right here. You could talk about me all you want next week, but baby, listen, I'm free.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
And most of the time, other people don't survive because they don't let that stuff out. They don't talk about it. And so yeah, so that inner thing that you talked about is really good, and I think we need to really think about how we feel on the inside and allow that stuff to come out on the outside if it's positive.
Right.
If it's negative,
right.
How do we get rid of negative energy like that?
I would say learning how the process of our thoughts work, learning how the process of us feeling works. A lot of times people just move throughout life and they just surviving. And you know, when we learn to just take on anything and everything, it's like our minds get full of negative things along with positive things. But sometimes the negative things are louder than the positive things. So that's where I think we first have to learn to recognize these things. Okay, this is how this works. I'm not these negative thoughts that I'm having. This is not who I am. So, I see this now. So now let me work on removing this, letting it flow through me and out of me. You know, if you think about a lot of negative thoughts that we have, they're the same repetitive thoughts. It's not like we get new negative thoughts. It's the same repetitive thoughts.
Well, sir. Well, yeah, keep going. I'm just saying, yeah.
But and with that said, it may be a few, but they are all the time. So with that being said, we don't really learn how to recognize them to remove them. We just learn how to survive with them. And it's like once you get to that point where your focus is removing the negative energy, removing those negative thoughts, and then you start removing them, then all you're left with is the positive things. You're left with what God has in your head for you. You're left with your purpose. You're left with receiving messages, and you're not blocking them by the negative thoughts that you have, because it's all one space. So
yeah, as a matter of fact, my pastor said something about that today. He said when something is not for you, we need to learn how to return it to sender.
Right.
We are walking we're walking around in a world where people are constantly dumping, or people are projecting, or you know what I'm saying, if it was me I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying, if it was me I wouldn't say that. You know what I'm saying, but you're not me.
Right.
So, and we handle different things different ways on different days.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying, so we go through life taking on these things because of somebody else, because of how somebody else feel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, fear is number one. You know, like a lot of people don't want to step out and do things that they know that they are capable of doing because they have shared that with somebody else who was afraid.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Man,
like,
that's
well,
true.
man, you ain't got $5,000. I wouldn't do that.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, man, moving to another city, you ain't got no family there, man. Anything can happen to your kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? They say those things to you, not really understanding that it's having impact on your mental, because then you get to thinking like, man, if my kid gets sick and I move to North Dakota, you know what I'm saying, I can't call my mama, I can't call my sister, I can't call, no, but you can call out of work and you can go to the doctor and you could take care of your kid, you know what I'm saying? Those are the things, that's how we need to shift it and look at it like, yeah, man, you might be right. North Dakota might be a long way from here, but it's more things to do than Clinton. You know what I'm saying? It's new people to see. You know what I'm saying? Like new things to learn, new places to go, you know, and, you know, we just have to understand that everybody doesn't have the same capabilities.
That's true.
Because why? We were created different. We are unique. God built others to handle things that others may have been destroyed. You know what I'm saying? So that's good.
And one of the things I was thinking about is as you were talking then, was God didn't give us the spirit of fear. So if you look at that and say He didn't give us the spirit of fear, then that would say that fear is a spirit. But see, and that's another thing too. Learning to reject those things from other people, because we're energetic beings for one, and we receive and give off energy. And so there are some people who are more sensitive than other people.
That's right.
When
That's
it comes
right.
to energy.
That's right.
So I may be able to remove or not take on what you have versus you able to remove and take on what someone else has. It depends on how sensitive you are to that particular energy.
That's right.
But with that being said, that's why it's so important for us to learn how to protect our energy. You know, we say, you know, things are good vibes, you know, or they got bad vibes. But outside of the words, how do we protect against that? You know, and like I said, that's being self-aware. You know, even recognizing that this don't feel right. Let me start making an exit plan. You know,
Fast.
a lot of times we don't go on our feelings.
We don't.
You know, we may move out of fear or what someone else has said, or sometimes even false things that other people have told us because of their own fear.
Because of their own fear. And sometimes it could be hate, jealousy,
Yeah.
envy. We're gonna talk about it today. We cutting through the red tape.
Let's get it.
Sometimes it could just be, I don't want that for you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you every negative thing that come with it. You not good enough. You not thin enough. You know what I'm saying? Your skin too dark. You know what I'm saying? Your hair ain't long enough. You not pretty enough. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't get up there in front of all them people, girl. You know what I'm saying? You can't walk in heels. I wouldn't do all that. You not a good spokesperson. You don't speak well. And that's just like, we cutting through the red tape today. Like that's real stuff. Like people really say those things to you because they either don't want it for you, they're jealous of you, they envy what you have, or they're afraid.
Or they envy that you're doing what they didn't do. A lot of times that'd be it right there.
Did you use scissors to cut through that, or did you just use what did you use?
Them big things.
The big things that just, I mean, like, listen. Can you repeat that? Say that one more time for the ones in the back.
Sometimes people will envy you because of they didn't do what you did do, what you didn't have the courage to step out on faith to do, and they see that, they envy that.
They envy that.
Yep.
They mad.
They mad.
Because
how she do that? But what it is, they won't necessarily look at themselves and say, man, you know what? She did that. I can do it too. They'd rather turn that to, she did that.
Some type of hate.
Yeah,
want to talk about it and want to display, or and even if you mess up in that said thing, they be like, oh, I wouldn't have done it like that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even use that. I would have done it this way and stuff like that. But you didn't do it at all.
Right.
So let's start there. And
that's another thing too. When your inner space is clear, you can hear that voice of God closer. Because you got to think, man, I say that the voice of God and the angels and whatever, the good spirits that are talking to us, it's a whisper. The negative things that we have going on are so much louder.
So much louder.
So we have to learn to tone them down so we can hear that light whisper and then get that guidance and see how to move in the world like that. That's the most important part.
And that all goes back to your inner space.
Right.
Cleaning it up.
Right.
And I got to go back to the Bible. When you empty all of that, it's like the flesh dying daily. You know what I'm saying? You have to cut something off every single day. And when I think about that, I think about a song that says, empty me, like empty me, Lord, and then fill me up with you. You know what I'm saying? So that's getting rid of all of that negative energy, because listen, the Bible says that we are king's kids.
Right.
So what that means to me, like people tell me, like, you wear purple all the time. Like, purple is the color of royalty.
Right, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So back in the Bible days, they had nose rings, they had bracelets, they had chains. You know what I'm saying? These people had money on.
Right.
They had. So, you know what I'm saying? I want to live like them. Like, these was kings. They had castles. They had people feeding them fruit. Like, they had servants. You know what I'm saying? So it's our mindset. It's the way we think. Like we don't deserve that, or
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying. Like we shouldn't be in that position. But if they had that in the Bible
Right.
days, then we should know what poverty is.
Right. But see, then that goes to the system and different things that are controlling how we move and stuff. That's a whole different story.
That's a whole
That's
different
a whole
story.
different story.
But at the end of the day, if you let the system control your mind, you won't have a systematic mind.
That's right. That's right.
Is it not so?
That's right. Systematic mind.
You gonna have a systematic mind if you
Mhm.
allow the system to control your mind.
That's right.
Sometimes, like I don't really know if we could say this here, but when people they get so mad over slavery and stuff, like, oh, they did this to us,
Mhm.
they did this to us, whatever the situation may be, and you're right, they did do it to us.
Mhm.
But the division started whenever they separated the lights and the darks.
Mhm.
If we could ever get back to that and understand that that's in the mind, that
Right.
they showed us physically,
Mhm.
you're better than this one because this one is in the house and this one is in the field.
Right.
But we all come from the same
Same source.
birthplace.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? You're no better than me.
Mhm.
I'm no better than you. I can help you and you can help me.
Right.
Let's get rid of that mindset. Come together
Mhm. Work
and
together, work as one.
watch it flourish.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
That's
again, that's dealing with that inner self. I mean, you brought that inner self up, and it's so powerful because that's something that I had to deal with on the inside, because that's letting me know I think this way.
Mhm.
One, because I was programmed.
Mhm. Yeah.
Two, because I see it, you know what I'm saying? I physically see the damage that was done, but I have to do the work within myself to know, yeah, my brother or my sister is lighter than me, but they're still my brother and my
Right.
sister.
Right.
And if I can help them, then that's what I want to do.
Right.
Or that's what I need to do.
Right. That's right. I agree. And with that said, it's, to me, I don't feel like it's more of the physical characteristic. It's more of the character of the person. And if you take that, the character of people, and remove, you can pretty much remove anything else physically, because it's about the character of a person. You know.
Sometimes them characters be jacked up.
Well, yeah, but then that's where you got to know how to see things. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Listen, this has been a great show, Mike. That inner thought, that inner process. Is there anything else that you just want to leave the people with on today?
I would say, just do what you set yourself out to do. Start out with a plan first. Speak it first. Say what it is you want to do. Speak it first, because speaking is very powerful. You speak it first, put it in your mind, put it in your heart, and then ask God to lead you on that path. The thing, a lot of times we end up veering off the path because we feel like we know better than what God knows for us, and we don't. And I would say, if you are dealing with internal things, negative things, or whatever, learn to recognize those things. Learn other methods to help you remove those things. Keep God first at the bottom of everything. It's rooted in God.
Rooted.
Intentions are everything. That's what people don't understand. It's all about intentions. So if you keep God first and rooted in anything that you do, your intentions have no other choice but to be good. So I would just lead the people with that. Just have good intentions. Focus on recognizing your thoughts and clearing negative energy. Understand that we are the observer of our thoughts. We are not our thoughts. I could go on for days, but yeah, those are some things I would lead the people with.
Well, I certainly appreciate it. And we're gonna end on the note where the first thing that you said was speaking. Be sure to speak all positive.
Right.
Like the negative things, like don't curse yourself.
Right.
I know a lot of people say, well, a curse is, you know what I'm saying, a curse is cursed, but you can literally curse yourself by speaking those things on yourself. And Pastor talked about that today when when people ask us, can we borrow $50? The first thing we say is,
I'm broke.
oh, I ain't got
I
it.
ain't got it.
And Pastor today said that we need to start throwing some yets in there. You know what I'm saying? I understand that you need to borrow $50, but I don't have it yet, or I don't have it right now. You know what I'm saying? Don't just be going around talking about, oh, I'm broke, my back hurt, this person making me sick. I almost said the other word. But this person make me sick, because at the end of the day, you are speaking that. And now every time you see that person, you're going to start physically getting sick,
Right.
or emotionally getting sick. So be careful what you say, even if it's in your down season. If you're in your down season, or a season where you don't feel like you're making enough or having enough, start speaking. By this time next month, as a matter of fact, don't even wait that long. By this time next week, I will have.
Right.
I will be healed. You know what I'm saying? The Bible says by his stripes we are healed. So he gave us the power. He gave us the authority and to heal ourselves. People don't even understand. You have the power in your hand, in your mouth, to speak healing on the very person that you see that is battling an illness.
Right.
Start speaking. Speaking life, speaking positivity over your own situation, over your children, your family, your job situation. I'm sick of this job. You know what I'm saying? Speak when you talk about your job, even if you don't like it. Oh, I love this job, but I might not be here very long.
You know, on that note, you brought up a good point about speaking, and it made me think about, we always talk about affirmations, right? But if you think about affirmations, two parts to it. A lot of times, you know, we can speak, you know, some kids grew up and their parents said they weren't going to be nothing, or they spoke negative things into them, right? And those kids started believing those things. So the thing with affirmations is now, you're to say positive things, and that goes back to speaking and programming our mind with our verbal.
That's right.
And so, you know, just focusing on saying those positive things, like you were saying, if they get a job that they don't like, you know, just saying things like, I can see myself making more money, or, you know, this job is teaching me a lesson.
That's right.
What lesson is it trying to teach me?
That's right.
You know, more positive things opposed to anything negative.
Anything negative.
So,
anything negative.
right.
Anything negative, let it go. I mean, your child might be bad, but you look at that child and say, you know what? I believe that there's some good in you. And whether I have to get it out with this belt or not. I just play, y'all. I just play. But that's the truth.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, anything that you can say positively towards any type of negative situation, say those
That's
things.
right. It's very powerful.
The Bible, look, I have to go back to the Bible.
Right.
The Bible says there is life and death
In the tongue.
in the power of the tongue.
That's right.
And that, listen, y'all, I'm telling you, hey, I'm gonna do y'all one better. We on Cutting Through the Red Tape. We about to take 810 studios around the world and back, baby. Listen, global, international, you know what I'm saying? So, LaShonta, Colbert, Cutting Through the Red Tape. And so just speak those things. I will be, I shall be, and shall is a confirmation. So anytime you say the word shall, whether you speak in negative or whether you speak in positive, it's going to come to pass. So I guarantee you, if you say shall, you better make sure you saying something positive whenever you say the word shall, because it is indeed a commandment or a command, excuse me. And the Bible also teaches us God is a man who shall not lie. So listen, y'all, I'm telling you, this some good stuff. This show was absolutely great. We want to thank Mike, for coming on
I
the
appreciate y'all for having
show.
me. I had a great time this
Yes,
conversation, man.
yes, we had a good time. So glad he said yes. I wore his inbox out. Like,
Look, I
okay.
gotta come back and talk about some more stuff.
Come on
I'm for real, man.
back.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back.
Yes, come
Hmm.
on back. We welcome you to come back and talk about, whatever it is that has been laid on your heart and your mind. Because like I said, perspective is it's all about perspective. No
Hmm.
matter what it looked like or no matter where you are, it's all about
Right.
perspective, and you just have to focus your mind
That's right.
and get it together. But listen, we have had a great time on Cutting Through the Red Tape with your girl LaShonta. Shout out again to 810 Studios for having us. We'll be back.
That's right.
Peace.
Peace.